Master Hellish here, and welcome back to my OpenTTD Series 10 Let's Play. Now, we're having another look at your viewer submitted games for 1950, and remember, if you want to play along, you can do so. Head out to masterhellish.net/S10. I'm sure you'll be able to catch up with the series. We're taking it nice and easy. But like we looked at some last time, we're going to look at some more this time. So if you haven't seen, I think it was Thursday's video, go check it out. I introduced the concept and what we're doing. But for this one, let's jump in with our first viewer submission for our Series 10 Let's Play of the 1950. And it is Wizard Brandon. There we go. Hello, Brandon. Yes, hello you. Now, first thing I noticed about this one immediately, Hellish City is 1,300 in population. And I also noticed that you've done a lot of preparation. So let's cover this, and I actually spoke to Brandon about this, and so I can fill you guys in on a little bit of what's going on here. We can see the requirements for Hellish City over here are being met, so the town will be growing. Apparently, let's see whether the town has been supplied now for 69 months in a row, and has grown for 194 months out of 240. Now, there's a reason why the city isn't huge, and we'll talk about that in a minute. 20 million in the bank account and a company value of 26. So it's a bit of a slower start for Brandon, but we can see here that Brandon has a interesting layout here. We've got boats going all the way around the edge of the city. We've got big, massive stations put in all the way around already. Some of these stations appear to be longer than others, presumably to help that. I think Brandon's just gone for length 10. No, that's length 12. That's length 10. Why is there a gap there? I'm not sure. And there is, yeah, there seems to be a boat access for most of these city structures here, and we've already got our wharf in. So Brandon has been playing for the long game. And you can see that it's got this kind of spiral design to the city. That's actually to help improve city growth, ironically, with the amount of growth that's going on here in this particular city. The spiral design is to do with the way that the city route decides to look for the fact whether it can grow and put a house down or not. I won't go into the technical side of it right now, but Brandon's attempting to utilize that. What Brandon didn't do was set up a service in the city. So I said it, I think, in episode 1. It is a requirement for the game to grow a city for you to have a service in that city. And then the city builder requirements are on top of that. So because Brandon didn't put a service within the city, like a little bus route or something, then the town didn't really recognize that it was going to be growing. So you can see here that the town is now starting to grow, but Brandon had a bit of a false start, and it's going to take a little while to catch up. So a nice, interesting look there. We've got some waterways, and that's going to have cost a lot of money. It's not going to have been a financially very good decision to do that, but in the long run, this may be the way forward. These boats can go over the top of each other, overlap. These waterways that Brandon's got here have infinite throughput. Like, you can get as many boats along there as you like. You can see there's plans here to extend the spiral, and there's big diggy bits all the way through the land to other areas as well. We've got farm supplies. Accepts, how does, oh, I was like, how does that little dock accept farm supplies? But then I can see Brandon's done a spread station here with this storage container, this silo, in order to be able to get the stuff down the hill, which is fine. So a bit of a slow start here for Brandon. We've got some nice stations in the city. Very simple designs, simple and effective designs for relatively low throughput. If you want... Oh my goodness. Okay, I haven't seen this before. We've got a train with an engine at the front and an engine at the back. You can put your engines anywhere within the train. So again, Brandon going for double engine trains. These look like they're 12 long. Let's see if we can measure it. Yep, they're 12 long trains. But we've got a train either end. And I like that. That's good. We've also got some docks. and some other bits. I suppose you get this. You get the kind of the smoke effect at the end and at the beginning of the train. So let's just unpause that. That is a bit weird to have the steam coming out the front and coming out the back. Not used to seeing that. Not used to seeing that at all. What else have we got here? We've got another city that's being grown. Although, looks like there are nothing else in these cities apart from the actual main stations. Have we got anything over here? Okay, so this particular city, we've got 2 lots of station platforms. I'm not quite sure why there's this kind of double exit situation going on here. I don't really see that providing any benefit at all. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But there we go. We've got a nice little entrance and a loop round here. I'm not sure whether this loop round bit here is actually going to save anything in terms of the train slowing down. Because you can see it's going 128 kilometers an hour. But as it goes around this corner here, there is the potential that the train could have slowed down. Now, because this train has 2 engines on it, then maybe it just won't slow down around those corners. And in which case, then that's fair enough. That is fair enough. It's expanding out nicely. I like this kind of dual station, one side of the city, other design, and then bringing the 2 bits of track together. Although here I would have put a tunnel. Can I build it in time before the train comes? Oh, not quite. Not quite. There we go. That's a personal preference. I prefer tunnels. Don't have to upgrade them later when you've got bridges and things. Trains turning around, just going back into the depot, actually. Actually, did that train go through the back of these signals? The rear of the train must not have been able to have passed that signal when it turned around. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, I think it was just overlapping. So we're growing this city. Again, though, the city growth mechanics for these cities are normal city growth. Oh, look, there are other... okay. So Brandon's got other platforms in here. Other not platforms, other bus stations. But it looks like it's purely for coverage. So you can see that this station here and the bus stations covers half the city. And this station here and the bus stations covers half the city. But this city won't be growing as fast as it could do. Really, for the growth mechanics, you've already got 2 stations in there. You're going to need a grand total of 5. So it might have been better just to put something on the... oh, there's a building there. On the outskirts of the city, not too far out. And not a train depot. But just pop something on the outskirts of the city, like this. Oh, look, they put a tower there. And have a service going between them to make sure you've got 5 stations in the city. And that will make the city grow at its maximum cityness. But looks like you've got some fantastic plans there. I'm interested to see if this kind of spiral design will enable it to grow quicker than other people. You need a bit of money, but obviously you've spent so much money digging up all these canals. In the future, though, Brandon, in the future, you've got infinite throughput into a city that is well designed. So let's see how this one turns around. I'm looking forward to seeing this towards the end and mid of the playthrough, to see how things have changed, to see if Brandon's caught up with everybody else. Because there's only going to be a certain amount that people are going to be able to get their cities grown up to because of the amount of infrastructure involved. That's going to be interesting to see. Now let's see if Brandon's done anything else on the map. There are a few other bits and bobs. So over here, we've got a railway network for an assembly plant. You can see there's it's a big assembly plant there. And we've got 4 stations here. So we've got probably the 4 different things coming in. Again, more boats. Lots of boats, actually, transferring across. And you can see the advantage here is the boats just go straight through each other. They go straight through each other. You can pile those boats up. Brilliant for throughput. And yeah, nothing too outlandish. Using the natural waterways. Signal spacing's a bit far apart, Brandon, actually. I would highly recommend getting your signal spacing and changing it down to a lower number. We're not playing with infrastructure maintenance turned on, so more signals down a piece of track means that the trains can travel closer together and your lines have better throughput. So that's really, I mean, you've got depots on the main line. Let's just have a quick look to see if you've changed any of the game settings. Okay, so Brandon's turned breakdowns off, so having the depots on the main line doesn't really matter. The trains aren't going to go into the depot. The depots are there really just to add new trains and also to be able to upgrade trains later. And Brandon's also turned town builds roads off. Now, this is for Brandon's spiral design here, because if the local authority here was allowed to build roads as well as towns, and by default, as well as buildings, they do try and build roads. Then it would ruin Brandon's spiral, and you might end up with the city like connecting these bits here, and then the routing algorithm might go along the road around and go round in a circle. Going round in a circle is quite bad, because if it doesn't find a place, then it can fail its attempt. If it fails its attempts too often, then you might not get a house and so forth. Actually, the grid pattern of a city makes it quite difficult for the town to grow past a certain point, I suppose. So we'll see how that goes. And over up here at the top in the no train zone, we of course have some boats. Of course, Brandon. We've got, let's just have a look here. You got, oh, you've used a depot there to actually get the ships round and through and under. That's quite cool. No, there's another depot here. I like the use of the depots in the highly built up edges of the city there, because it kind of makes it almost like a underground waterway. You could put a line of depots, but I don't think the ships would pass through them. I want to try it now. I want to try it. If I put a big long line of ship depots in like this to make a ship tunnel, will the ships just pass through it? No problem. So let's speed up the game and find out. Okay, so obviously some of those ships were already pathing before I did anything. No, they just go. They just go into the ship tunnel. Oh, I like that. I like the ship tunnels. Okay, so we can put an extra bit there. Get a ship tunnel in. Disappears into the ship. Oh, that's cool. Never thought of that before. I mean, obviously it's not a proper tunnel, but if the city builds up around it enough, it could look quite nice. I mean, obviously on this side of the river we've got houses and stuff right up against it. You could even do some industry station renewal stuff down alongside some of this. So if we go to facilities, you could potentially... Oh, which one's this one? The docks. You could even potentially just build up some... oh, station's too spread out, but you could build up some buildings alongside it to help decorate it as well with the industry station stuff. But let's have a look. So we've got a farm here coming in, supplying presumably food. Yep, food going in. Town's growing there. Look, see here, Brandon's put in the extra bus service to help the city grow, and here, but didn't do it over in the city builder challenge. Maybe just doesn't need the cities to grow that fast. Oh, where is the city builder? Here it is. Maybe Brandon forgot. Maybe he doesn't need them. Maybe there's plenty of passengers for now. And maybe we'll see what happens. That's going to be all from Brandon's. A lot of interesting things here. Some different tactics. Can't wait to see how this one changes in the future. But let's go on to our second person for today. And for the second half of today's video, we got Rails. Is it Rails Labs? Yes. And a fantastic company here with a company value of £500 million. Now, there was a custom currency value that was set up in this particular game, so I don't know if the currency conversions worked when I changed it back to pounds or not. Not sure. Ideally, it's best if you don't change the currency so that we can compare between different people. But here you can see that it's a high-valued company with over 600 trains, and the town of Hellish City has been growing quite well. Let's have a quick look at the stuff that's going on here. So again, we've got a game with no breakdowns, and some of the GRFs removed. I presume that's the visual ones that I've got rid of, and some personal setting to change, like currency or signal side. Things like which side the signals are on and things like that. That's fine, that's okay. Just note it in the beginning of the map here. Let's go over to the City Builder Challenge and have a look And this. Oh my goodness. Look at this. So you can see here that we've got the city. The city has been renamed to L City. And we've got what looks like the ability to have some water or something put in later. But we've got some very far out stations here that are... That one accepts... Oh, so we've got... Is that a spread station? Yeah, so we've got some spread stations so that we accept some passengers and food and so forth. But look at the amount of space that has been purchased here. Yes, randomly placed industries will not bother me. That's right. So they've gone and purchased all the land so that random industries don't come up and get in the way. And you can see that the road network has been built out substantially as well. That's quite interesting. So as the city grows, they're going to have to remove some of these signs so that the city can grow into it. City growth is at 8,600 in population, and we've got a few bits and bobs going on here. This is the introduction of, I think, the cast iron and aluminum. We can have a little closer look at what's going on in this screen. So passengers, food, mail, glass, all being delivered fine. A little bit of a problem with cast iron at the moment, and electrical parts has not been done according to this at the moment. So the town is missing electrical parts, and it's growing somewhat okay. I think there's been some challenges with getting stuff into the city. But look at this network. This is a nice little network. We've got the signals going along the other direction. It's just boggles. Makes my mind go a bit funny when then they're on the other side, but I do that sometimes as well. And we've got these this is a little bit... Oh, okay, that's an interesting station design. So we've got basically a station with one in through the middle, and then when the train comes out, it can go either way. This little signal here in the middle, that is there purely to make the trains prefer the other two platforms. So trains will come in down the middle and it will go left or right and go into one of those two platforms first, which is good because then when the train comes out, it goes straight out down one of these out tracks. That's a nice way of doing it. I like that. And we've got some pretty long length 12 stations there. Having depots at the end of your platforms, I think in some scenarios can cause problems, because if you've got a train that goes to the station and then goes into the depot or goes straight into the depot and then you have another train come into the platform, then the train can't come out of the depot and you get a little bit of flow issue, but it's not the worst. I mean, I would like to do a comparison potentially between having depots at the end of the platforms or not. Having them at the end of the platforms does make good availability though. Like you can put a lot of depots on the end of the platforms and make it so that trains have good availability. You know what? We've had some trains recently with multiple engines. This has got 4. So the horsepower per ton on this one is 2.9. You got to remember, I think it depends on what you're carrying, what you're pulling. This smaller train has a 2.3 horsepower per ton. So this smaller train is only just less powerful than the bigger train with what appears to be 4 engines. So that's unloading now. Looking at the network, we've got some careful consideration to the way that the land flows here. So going up and around the land rather than cutting it off. Personal preference, I would cut that little bit off. I would just stomp through that bit. Again, like I said though, that is just a bit of personal preference. And then we've got some nice city bridges here. So we're growing this city. And it looks like... Oh, we've got a tram route. Not seen any trams in this Let's Play so far. So it's nice to see them coming around. Tramway construction, here we got it. Or maybe we should do some tramway in my particular Let's Play. That would be quite good. But there we go. This is not going to help with the growth algorithm very much. There's just 2 stations here. But you know what? The town's growing every 15 days. So I guess it's supplying what it needs to. Where are most of the passengers coming from? What is that train? That's a cargo train. Where are all the passengers? So that's cargo. Oh, okay. Looks like we've got some passengers and mail. Oh, there we go. They're passengers and mail lines. We've got some Nice level crossings in here. I do like those ones. Of course, now in OpenTTD version 13, one set of signals goes, the other ones. But that didn't work. Why didn't adjacent signal tracks go then? Was it just because they're not in the same direction? Or is it because... I don't know. Like, if I place a second set of signals, track here, will that activate that one? Well, that activated both of them. What's this one going to do? Oh, it is doing. It is doing. It just looks different to what I'm expecting. The graphics are different. There's some sort of difference in there. But there we go. Look at that. Okay, let's have a look at the world map and see what else is going on. Wow, look at that. We've got some interesting stuff going on here. We haven't got anything in the other three. Oh, we have got a little bit up here. So in the no train zone, we've got these buses going backwards and forwards. They stuck. Oh, they suck. Okay. So we've got some buses. It looks like the city isn't allowed to grow roads because the city is just growing along that line there. Eventually the two cities will probably just meet up in terms of buildings. What else have we got? There's a little bit going on here. So we're growing some cities by just providing a little bit of a route between the two of them, which is nice. I like these little rows of houses and stuff that's coming out of there. And what we got down here as well. Let's have a look. A similar arrangement. Nice. Okay. So then let's have a look at some of these extended parts of the hellish city stuff. This looks like a pretty busy hub round here. So we've got a lot of train lines going all over the place. But I'm not sure why. Okay, so there's a wiggle in the track here. But I don't know why. Maybe there was an industry there earlier or something, I don't know. Again, here there's a wiggle, but I don't know why. Is it to... I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that is. We've got preservation of rivers, which is nice to do, I guess. Like I said, I don't normally bother in this area with that sort of thing, but that's cool. Signal spacing is quite close together, so that's good. And we've got some advanced signals down here. Presumably this is some sort of priority merge. I'd have to go look up on that. It's not something that I do or bother with. I mean, look at the amount of throughput here on this line. What sort of priority do you need to give to these trains? Like, we've got one train coming through that junction here, and there's, like, no other trains around. But when this junction gets busy later, then that might be a thing. That might be a problem. And we've got some other bits here. Yeah, look here. We've got some... This is almost certainly a priority merge. It's got to be, right? With these extra little bits going around here. Yeah, interesting to see. I have, like I said, it's not something I do. Maybe it's something I should start to do. Let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see some of the more advanced sort of junctions from me. I tend to be basic and intermediate. I don't go for priority merges and things like that. But let me know if that is something you want to see more of. Again, following the land and the hillside here. Not normally my style, but it looks good, especially when you go on the world map. You get these sorts of little lines and wiggles and zones that creep out around the infrastructure, which is quite nice. So, there we go. So overall, an interesting look at a very different play style. Conserving rivers, following the contours of the line, of the land, sorry, and going all out in the city to dig out all of this area, not dig out, sorry, but to reserve all of this area and preserve it. Be interesting to see if the city grows massively over the course of the series. Another one that I'd love to see sometime soon. But that is going to be all from this particular episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember, we have got that live stream coming up in a couple of weeks. It's a charity event. OpenTTD's involved. It's got free games that people can get involved with. And there's a £50 Steam voucher prize as well for the winner. So we'll see how that goes. All the announcements are on my social media, on my Discord, and the event is listed as a stream on YouTube and as an event on Facebook and Discord. So check it out, and I will see you then. That's all going to be from me for now. So, ta-ra, goodbye.